Buenos días, bienvenidos a la quinta semana, semana 5, en que vamos a cubrir la primera parte de capítulo 5. So I want to welcome you all to week 5. We're going to cover the first part of chapter 5. The second part will be covered in week 6. Okay. Now, this week, again, you'll watch the Vista General, so you will see the video that I'm currently recording there. The objetivos y metas para esta parte, so our objectives and goals for this first part. Okay, you will be able to identify and refer to different parts of the body. Okay, you'll be able to refer to indirect objects by their pronouns. So in chapter 4 we did direct object pronouns, now we're doing indirect object pronouns. You'll be able to ask and tell where something hurts, what you like, what you dislike, what's bothersome. Ask about what's important to them or interest of them, all of these using indirect object pronouns. Okay. You'll be able to talk about a variety of topics using pronouns for both direct and indirect objects. You'll be able to tell someone to politely do something by using formal commands and communicating instructions in a clear and simple language. You'll be able to ask patients to repeat instructions, whether an interpreter is used or not, as a, quote, safe check on patient understanding, and ask and answer questions such as when, to what degree, using adverbs. So, again, you're going to be watching the Semana 5 video, Vista General. As always, you'll be working on the textbook and the corresponding My Spanish Lab activities. There will be one vocabulary quiz in Blackboard and a grammar quiz in My Spanish Lab. We have our last 2 dialogues this week. Diálogo número 7 for Wednesday, June 14th, and then Diálogo número 8, which will be Sunday, June 18th. Don't forget to log your 2 hours of your language and cultural contact, and your second presentation will be due during Semana 6, week 6, but it will be due early in the week on Tuesday, June 20th. So you may want to begin working on it this week. And then next week on June 23rd, which is a Friday, you will have your final oral exam. And so you can connect with the Google Calendar here off to the side, left side with the tabs, or even down below. So the lista de tareas, like each chapter, you have the plan here and here. Okay, and this week out of chapter 5, we're going to be covering pages 130 through 142. May not seems like, oh wow, we've really reduced the number of pages this chapter, but we're only covering part of it. Okay, so this week's quiz on Blackboard happens to be words that are associated with el cuerpo humano, the human body, and those vocabulary words can be found on pages 131 and 132. So you want to study those and make sure you know how to spell them, where the accent mark goes. You'll only have 15 minutes to take the quiz. Okay, then the last 3 activities, the My Spanish Lab homework on that Sunday, June 18th. Those will be the quiz over the grammar. You will have 8 minutes to complete each one. Okay. You want to make sure again that you're logging your 2 hours. And as I mentioned prior, we will be handing in on Tuesday of week 6, June 20th, the second language and cultural contact presentation. Again, another voiced over PowerPoint. Okay, so you can start working on that this week. So you have very little to do that Monday and Tuesday when it's due. Okay, so we see the quiz and then our 2 diálogos. The quiz. Okay. The quiz over el cuerpo humano. So you want to make sure that you study the terms. Here's pronunciation of the parts of the body. Okay, to hear it, here's if you need a reminder of accent marks. Hopefully we don't need that anymore. And then finally, you will click on the quiz here. You have one attempt, you have 15 minutes, but it is a matching activity. Okay, so I apologize, it does say I will grade, or I'm sorry, this one I will grade manually. I'm thinking of the quiz from Semana 4. This one you will be typing in the word, and you will need to put the definite article in there to receive full points. Okay? So again, you will be given 10 words in English. You're going to type the translation in Spanish, but you need to include that definite article, that el or la or los or las with it. Okay? So the next thing we had were the two diálogos. So diálogo 7, again, our assignment description. This time es un diálogo entre un nutriólogo or un nutrióloga y un or una paciente. Él o la paciente es un hombre o una mujer de México que acaba de sufrir un infarto de corazón que también padece de diabetes. So one person will be the nutritionist, nutriólogo or nutrióloga, and the patient will be a man or a woman who is from Mexico originally, recently suffered a heart attack, and suffers from diabetes. So the nutritionist is going to be recommending a good diet and exercise program. Okay? Unfortunately, the patient prefers his or her own regular diet, which is rather unhealthy, and also this person does not like to exercise. So again, you're going to be doing this twice. You're going to switch roles. So review the food vocabulary that was found in Chapter 4, pages 122 to 123, and also the parts of the body that you have the quiz over on pages 131 to 132. So in your dialogue, we have the normal appropriate greetings, introductions with full name, asking the patient his or her name, how to spell their last name, how he or she feels today, what their normal diet is like, what about their exercise routine, and give them healthy suggestions regarding that diet. And give some suggestions for an exercise program, and be specific on the body parts. What kind of exercise is good for what body part. Okay? Ask your patient if he or she likes any of your suggestions, and the patient is going to appropriately respond. Okay, remember they don't want to eat more healthy and they don't like to exercise. So you need to tell the patient what he or she needs to do, and here you can use like IK and other special expressions. Patient will respond, thank him or her, and then the appropriate closings. Okay. So again, be sure to include the vocabulary and expressions you've been learning in the textbook when appropriate. Okay? Keep in mind this is a chance to practice and get feedback. And when somebody answers, you need to comment or react appropriately. So if it's something bad, you can comment such as lo siento or va a sentirse mejor. Okay? If it's something good, ay, qué bueno, for example. Okay? So that's número 7. Diálogo 8, set up in the same way. This time it's a diálogo entre un enfermero o una enfermera y un or una joven paciente colombiana con dolor de la espalda. So one person will be the nurse working with a young Colombian man or woman who's experiencing back pain. Okay? So we start off in the same way. We're going to do this twice. Appropriately greet each other, introductions with full name, asking the patient his or her name and how to spell the last name, how he or she feels today. And now here you actually have specific answers that you need to include. So when you ask the person what hurts, they need to answer with the back. And then how long has the back been hurting? You can answer anything you would like. If anything else hurts, they need to answer that their feet hurt when they have to be on their feet all day. What is bothering him or her? And the answer is a swelling in the ankles. What is worrying him or her? And they need to answer about their children. Okay? Tell your patient it seems that he or she needs to speak with a doctor, and the patient needs to respond, it seems like a good idea. Thank him or her, appropriate closings, and farewell. And again, remember to use the vocabulary, the grammar that you're learning, and appropriate reactions and comments. Okay? So then, after the diálogo, we have the sign up for the oral exam. Okay? So the oral exam will be held June 23rd, and you need to sign up before June 20th. Okay? And here's the link again to my calendar. Okay? Now, if for whatever reason the times do not agree with your schedule, please contact me ASAP as soon as possible so that we can make appropriate arrangements. Okay, the recursos. Here, a little bit shorter, we have some PowerPoints on indirect object pronouns, how to use direct and indirect object pronouns together, how to form formal commands, how to form adverbs. And then there's also some comparisons, which will actually be more for next week, but will give you a little bit of insight. Okay? So that is all for Semana 5, la primera parte de Capítulo 5. Les deseo buena suerte. And as always, contact me if you have any questions.